I'm trying to design 4 different LEGO sets that are better than LEGO's official products. If I can succeed this challenge by the end of 7 days, I've got a former LEGO designer's signature forged by Duck Bricks that says I might just become an official set designer for some reason. So let's do this. Alright, it's day 1, and I wanted to start the challenge off with a bit of an easier one, so I'm gonna try customizing this Winnie the Pooh LEGO Ideas set to make my own creation. I actually really like this set. It has some amazing minifigures, but I always thought these leaves made using these coral pieces look kind of weird, so we're gonna remove those, the beehives, the house, and all the terrain, filling in the gaps using a combination of slopes and curves to create this guy, who I'm calling Morgan Treeman. You can kind of see this line above his mouth is the dividing line, where everything above the tree is mostly from the set, modified, and then everything below the tree is custom sculpted all the way around. A lot of the bottom is just using basic bricks, but I tried to shape and detail the outside the best I could. I also modified this bit a little bit to make his mouth. I added a nose, these eyebrows, and a moving mouth using a hinge plate there. Weird looking coral leaves were replaced by a more classic LEGO leaf. I added some vines hanging from different places, and I guess the branches were rearranged a bit too, so they're like stacked right on top of each other now, instead of having some sticking out in the front, some coming out on top. The whole top bit here is also custom. I guess originally he did have more branches too. There are these thicker branches that came out of each of these snot bricks, but I had to steal them to make Hootie out of them, so I think that was a worthy sacrifice. But overall, I'm really happy with how this guy turned out. He was a really fun character while he lasted. He was a very fun build and an excellent start to this challenge. But the question is,
can LEGO do better?
Probably, but that's what I spent the rest of day 1 trying to find out by building the Legend of Zelda Deku Tree set. I guess I customized this one a bit too by building this massive dungeon walls around it. They actually used to be even taller, but I had to steal some pieces to build a volcano mural. I also replaced all the teal with just normal green to match the base plates a bit better. That one's not so easy to fix, but we can take it out of this thing to show the set in its original beauty. I guess technically this stuff shouldn't be there. We should have Link's house instead. This set's actually a 2-in-1, so I chose the Ocarina of Time model because I thought it looked more like my tree. And seeing them together here like this, I don't like my odds. The one thing I'll say, I do prefer my mouth over the LEGO sets version. Obviously this was intended to be like a door, so it opens like this, but it just looks weirder when it's talking compared to mine. I know that's like a very small thing, that's very specific to what I want, but I gotta earn points somehow, okay? LEGO did pretty much everything else better though. The branches and leaves, all the cool shaping and root details. Using those minifigure hat pieces as eyes, I love that. And I kind of already gutted the interior, but there's this cool mechanism where like a crawlchilla kind of pops down. That's awesome. And the worst part is this isn't even the best looking version of the set. Like I said, the set is a 2-in-1, and the Breath of the Wild version puts my dinky little tree to shame even more. And no, I don't own 2 copies of the set. I just stole this one from my brother. But everything this set did better than me, this one does even better than that one. Look at these roots. They're going all around, twisty turny. The beautiful cherry blossom leaves. The mouth actually opens and closes, and it does like this kind of thing with the eyebrows, like the wiggle eyebrows. That's so cool. Mine doesn't even have a mustache. That's sad. This guy's got a pretty cool mustache, all things considered. But look at this, guys. That goes all the way down to the floor. That's so cool. Even the set's version of Hestu is infinitely better than the old one I built. Its maracas like have a Korok seed inside of it, so they actually shake. Oh, and don't even get me started on the gorgeous minifigures. Man, LEGO really outdid themselves and me on this one. I'm gonna have to try even harder on day 2 if I'm gonna have any chance to complete this challenge. All right, no more messing around. Unlike yesterday, I'm gonna make this museum fully custom and spend the entire day working on it. We can get to the set tomorrow. I had some trouble with the front wall, but the back wall came together super nicely. I absolutely adore this color combination with tan, transparent light blue, and the bright green leaves. It all comes together super nicely, and it's very overly detailed for the back side that you're never going to see. But we're seeing it now, and we gotta appreciate it for all it's worth, because I spent way too long on this. After employing a bunch of nonsense building techniques to achieve that angled front wall. Like, look at some of these cheese slope detailings. I don't know what's going on there. It also came together incredibly with the addition of these dark blue flags to show the art and science aspects of the museum. These are kind of nice because they cover a pretty wide surface area of the wall, so I was able to kind of get away with making this a little bit less detailed, but pretty much every single surface is very much overly detailed. We got these little inset displays with Jewel and Johnny Thunder from a LEGO Scooby-Doo set of all things, and this big Big Ben clock face proudly in the center. Anyways, I love the front, I love the back, but I really don't love building roofs. So this is not my proudest work. Just having this plain black surface looked even worse, so a cheat code I use all the time is just adding leaves to roofs to make them look a little bit better. Then I added this cool idea for a big dome, but the biggest dome piece I had was just like this tiny little cockpit thing, so it's like a fraction of the size of the roof. The weird shape made it very fragile, very difficult to build. Pretty much every time I've taken it on and off the museum, it's fallen apart. And the big centerpiece I want to add doesn't even have a head. I don't even know where that went. Oh, give me that. There we go. Okay. Let's see if this thing survives putting it on this time. Barely. You can see it's like crumbling at the seams here. The gap is just atrocious. Oh, there's pieces falling off. It's not looking good. No. And after all that, I have to try to take it off again to do the interior, so here goes nothing. Okay, all right, yep, all right. We'll deal with that later. Now, instead of splitting the room up into 4 or 5 cohesive exhibits like a non-crazy person, I spent a ridiculous amount of time building 100 different exhibits and then picked one element from each to combine all into this hodgepodge. It's such a mess. I actually love how chaotic it looks though. Everywhere you look, it's packed with the most random details. Like, what's this black hot dog? What's Larry King's heads doing here? What's this Elf on the Shelf and Baby Benny? I have to give a massive shout out to Ev the Great here, who left a very great comment painstakingly documenting which exhibit every single item in this room came from. And they only got 8 of them wrong. This green screen is from the realism exhibit. You got your Minecraft exhibit swapped. Right here is Phases of the Moon, Anubis exhibit, Guinea Pig exhibit way back there. That's kind of cheating. That's just a normal pig. Castle Crunch's pizza carpet, and this tiny red dragon, which may or may not have been in the Chinese exhibit. But getting the other 92 correct is so impressive. Please spam the comments with Ev is great. Oh, and I think Santa promised to sell one of his elves to make an elf exhibit or something. I don't know. All in all, besides the misstep of the roof here, oh no. This museum is the perfect place for this Potter minifigure to live, and the perfect set piece for a lot of crazy action to go down in. But it's been a long day here. I've got a roof to fix before I go to bed, so we're as prepared as we can be for... I don't like my odds here. The LEGO Modular Museum is the biggest modular set of all time and took us 6 hours to build on stream. It's filled with so many fun details that I'm gonna be evaluating to see which museum is better. Okay, right off the bat, I am going to make the audacious claim that I actually prefer my museum's front better. And don't get me wrong, the front of the modular is amazing. I love all this stuff going on here. And the statues and landscaping in front of the sidewalk is definitely a lot better than what this guy had. And these cool banners that remind me of this guy. Okay, I'm kind of convincing myself that this is better, but all that being said, the walls themselves, once you strip all that detailing away, have so many like random lines. So it goes from olive to random brown to olive to tan to olive, white, gray, olive, brown, tan. There's just so many different colors, and I think in my case, less is more. This is mostly tan and has the transparent light blue accents with some green on top. This has so many different colors, which can be a good thing. But in this case, I think they could have avoided like maybe gray here. Is that the flooring of the second floor? No, they could have just replaced this with olive. I think they just don't have any olive tiles to use, but that was a misstep on their part. Obviously, I am biased, but I do have to throw myself a bone in some categories because they are going to destroy me in the rest. Okay, I'm actually giving myself another point on the backside. This is so boring, and it has the gross lines from the front. It's the worst of both worlds. The only thing it has going for it is this drain pipe, I guess. It's nothing to write home about, but this puddle is kind of cool, and it's like, it's growing a flower, but like, there's nothing else compared to mine. Like, obviously, they didn't want to put any budget into the back of the set because that you can't put that on the box, but I mean, I shouldn't have put that on the back because I can't put that on the thumbnail, but like, it's the principle. I spent a lot of time on this backside, clearly more than they did, and so I'm gonna give myself the point on that one too. Exterior, well, okay, the front and back of the exterior, but when we get to the top of the exterior, I think they got me there. I guess all this fancy stuff I complimented earlier is technically part of the roof, so that actually goes towards this and not the front side. But even the rest of it is so well put together. It's got a little man. Skylights using these curved window pieces. There's another dome, way better than my dinky little dome with, oh, that's missing a piece. 4 spires on top and another skylight. The backside has a telescope roof access. There's like a little stairway up to here and an interior area inside the dome where the curator has his study. body with all sorts of cool details inside there. Another little man! And it doesn't completely shatter when you try to take it off. It actually stays in one piece. That's massive. I guess that's kind of the main feature of the modular buildings, is that you can take them apart and see all the crazy interior inside, which is also just phenomenal. There's so many fun details to point out. Like there's this pottery exhibit where one of the pots got knocked over and shattered. A little gift shop in the front with 2 more little men. This slightly scaled down Brachiosaurus skeleton with some other bones in there and a fossilized piece of poop. And unlike almost every build I've ever made, it actually comes with a bathroom next to this lab. This staircase here leads us up to the second floor. You can see the open stairwell there. And there's even another opening for the dinosaur head to peek out of. Up here we have some ancient history exhibits that depict a time when LEGO actually used to make original themes, like space, pirates, and castle, and not just a bunch of licensed sets. It's pretty shocking, I know. Sorry, I need to stop smack talking LEGO if I ever want to become a designer. Obviously, they still make incredible unlicensed sets, like this one with its incredible unlicensed interior, which I do have to admit is organized way better than my jumbled hodgepodge mess over here. I guess that means the score is tied 2-2, which means I'll leave it up to you guys in the comments to choose a winner. And don't be afraid to hurt my feelings if you choose this one. I won't take it personally as long as you subscribe. I've been promising to compare these sets for over a year now, and I always complete my promises around here. Always. I am incredibly scared for day 7 now, but for now, let's move on to... Today I tried my hand at building a LEGO mushroom house for the Mushroom Sprite Series 25 minifigure. I've already shown the exterior, first floor, and upstairs in previous videos, but I absolutely love how I accomplished the shape on this thing. These rounded wall panels and all the geometry I had to do with mixel joints are some of my favorite techniques I've ever had to figure out to get this Smurf hut looking thing. Definitely improvement over my first mushroom house, and personally I think it completely clears LEGO's poor excuse for a mushroom house. I mean, look at this thing. What is this, a $20 Minecraft set? I think we can call this a clear victory. Wait, what is that? Is that boss music? Yeah, so this is not the mushroom house we're competing against. This is the Bricklink Designer Series 4 Mushroom House, designed by Jonas Krom. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. This guy is a legend. I've followed him on Instagram for years, and around the same time I made my mushroom house, he posted his to LEGO Ideas. It quickly got to 10,000 votes, lost the review to some licensed property, you know how it usually goes. But it got its second chance in the Bricklink Designer program. Now, I do have my problems with the BDP. I think it showcases LEGO's FOMO at its worst, but I can't deny it's given us some absolutely phenomenal sets that have sold out within a matter of hours. Sorry, I'll stop. I literally had to set an alarm to snag this puppy in time because I knew it would go quick. It is incredible. Look at that cozy little interior. There's the main floor and the top floor, which you can see better by taking off the roof there. This is so cool. I think this is a reference to one of Jonas's previous models. A little man in the chest, leafy green bed, and a paintbrush to write some letters. And while I do think both interiors have their merits, this one has like double the detail and half the space. It was so much more efficient. I mean, at least I beat this thing. The way the exterior was shaped in both the cap and the stem makes mine just look awful. There's so many studs on this one compared to this guy's smooth finish. Like, look at this. He was able to clip in road signs at an angle to minimize the gaps. This guy's nothing but gaps. It's got a window, 2 windows built in there, and the chimney actually goes all the way down to the first floor. This is an exclusively second floor fireplace. And then it made its own category in one. Look at all the landscaping around this thing. It has a lot better landscaping than my non-existent one, even if you count the little area around it in the city. But look at this, it's got a giant carrot, this adorable little mailbox, a water pump using a snake head, acorns using eggs, giant little hanging flower thing, and I haven't even mentioned the snail yet. Even the things I was proud of coming up with myself, I come to learn this guy did it first, with this curvy, swervy mushroom, and these cherries use the exact same design I use for Pac-Man, only they look better somehow. Look at this snail slime, and the snail itself looks like a much better version of this Bessie mock from Amphibia my brother built a few years back. Jonas, leave some building skills for the rest of us. The one thing that I think my mushroom house does better is that it doesn't come with a bunch of extra miscellany. Obviously the minifigures are great to include, even if they couldn't include the original Acorn Boy idea, but then there's all this random like fruit and stuff. I don't know if this is supposed to be a strawberry, blueberry, raspberry. I don't know, wheelbarrow, this watering can that literally can't stand up on its own, it's leaking. Why was all of this included? Maybe they had to like reach a certain parts count or something, but obviously it's not hurting anyone, but like, what are you supposed to do? Like, you can't display this with it. It just looks cluttered. I may be grasping at straws here, but I'm giving myself a point. It's not cluttered with the extra miscellany. But even throwing myself a bone like that, I still got absolutely destroyed. This thing was so much better than my build in virtually every single way. It's honestly a little discouraging seeing just how bad a builder I am compared to true artists like Jonas. But I did make a promise to do this over 8 months ago if that video got enough likes, and I always keep my promises if the video hits the like goal. Always. I also promised I'd build some of your mushroom ideas to put them inside here, and a lot of you wanted a monster mushroom, so we got Gloom Shroom here. For a measure room, I built a tape measure so we can see the dimensions of this interior. There's not much room in there. A 10-year-old named William wanted a Princess Leia shroom, so we can build her iconic hairstyle. Then we can add this head to the rest of her body. Oop, wrong one, sorry. Can I make a dinosaur mushroom? Please, you had me at subscribe. We're gonna use the Indominus Rex as the base because it's white, just like mushroom stems. Pop his head off. And we're gonna try to use these mushroom domes from the Piranha Plant set as the mouth with teeth. By connecting them to this head, and adding the eyes. Honestly, ignoring the teeth, it kind of looks like Yoshi now, another dinosaur with his big round nose like this. But we can attach this to the rest of the body, and unfortunately the joint here only bends side to side, so he can look to the side, that's kind of cool. But he can never bend his head up and down, so he's perpetually looking upwards like this. He's shocked at what he sees. It's a prehistoric caveman mushroom. We've got an office worker mushroom called Coffee Shroom, Electro Shroom, Octo Shroom, I was kind of lazy with this one, Shark Shroom, I was even lazier with this one, and Winged Shroom. They wanted one that would fly. I don't know what you call it. That is quite the collection of questionably canonical mushrooms. But I also asked in that video which mushroom you want to make canon, and the vast majority of comments I saw were asking for Ironclad Shroom. So this guy is going to be returning in a future medieval main channel video. All right, building all those definitely cheered me up a lot. I'm gonna go to bed now and hit the ground running tomorrow for my final set of the challenge. I want to design a Lego cruise ship that actually floats in my bathtub. So I tested 100 different Lego boats as you do, built up the foundation, the sides with the little portholes, added a pool for no reason, and the deck with a cargo area and the iconic smokestacks. But then it hit an iceberg and became shipwrecked. It was a whole thing. You don't know the half of it. This is actually half of it only because the other half sank. But at least we get to appreciate the detail that went into this thing, especially this front hull. I could have cheated and used some bigger prefab pieces, but I painstakingly sculpted using little pieces like this, cheese slopes, all sorts of sideways building techniques. Like, there's all this going on here to create a very seaworthy vessel. You can see all the holes in it that water definitely can't seep through. It's fine. You got the logo here, King Cruise Lines, and the portholes on the side. Yeah, this one is missing half of it, but don't worry about that. The inside has also been gutted. The pool was sadly removed, but you can at least see there's still the hatch to go down there. There is still steps, so that's something. On the deck here, we have some pool chairs, and I think there used to be an umbrella here. Cargo bay is sad. There's only one small little box there, and there used to be two, but here is the remaining smokestack. But the question is, does this float, or did it before it got destroyed? Yes, it does, and it only takes on a little bit of water. But the final question is, how does this compare to Lego's cruise ship? Not well. This Lego Titanic set has 9,090 pieces in it, and it felt like it took 4 days to build on stream, but obviously this is just day 7. This didn't take place like 2 years ago or anything. It looks fantastic above my editing desk, even though it's a little bit dusty. It's been here for like 2 years. And it's so wide I had to build a brick built support and use a Catan box to hold it in place. But I made a promise that if my Lego boat video got 100,000 likes, I would put this in my pool. I never thought in a million years it would actually hit that, but lo and behold, 104,000 people somehow clicked the like button on this video, like you should on this one. So, a promise is a promise. Okay, technically I never said the pool had to have water in it. And even if I had, shortly after hitting the like goal, my pool completely fell apart because of a few rusty connector pieces. Plus before that, the filter had also broke and the water was all green and scuzzy, which would have been a nightmare to put a Lego set in. I probably would have had to take all 9,090 pieces apart so they didn't get moldy. I don't know, I'm sorry for the cheap cop-out, but this is ironically the perfect place to showcase all the amazing details of this set.
Does that even like look good at all?
We got these 3 working smokestacks and the decoy one, the insufficient number of lifeboats, all this cool rigging stuff, flags, and tiny benches for all the little men to sit on. I love that. You can remove this pin to break the ship into 3 sections with a detailed interior and these engines that actually turn the propellers and back. The front has these pool tables and an actual pool inside a pool. That's pretty cool. And I love the shaping on the back with a rudder. Comparing this cruiser to mine is just pathetic. Mine's about as sturdy as the pool was, and it's so much smaller. 5 times to be exact. It honestly looks more like the iceberg at this point. After spending an entire week trying to build better sets than these ones, I think I failed the challenge. I will never be a Lego designer. But you know what? That's okay. They say comparison is the thief of joy, and by comparing myself to professional designers who spent literal months perfecting these products, and Jonas, I'm always gonna end up disappointed. It's easy to forget just how much fun I had building all these mocks in my own unique way if I'm constantly focused on builds better and more expensive than mine. So that's my challenge for all of you. Don't let being mediocre stop you from trying something that you might enjoy, whether it's Lego, art, music, sports, whatever. We are all created with different talents and abilities, and motivational speaking definitely is not one of mine, but hopefully you got something out of all this anyways. Comment below how you would rank all 8 of these sets, and watch this video next, or the Mushosaur will eat you.